Building Board, Bulletin Board. And the mayor hereby directs that the statement be included in the minutes.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We're not going to be doing the poetry tonight, so if anyone's here for that, I'm joking. Joking. Sorry. I think that's all everyone's here for. Okay. Welcome to the November 10th, 2025 open session meeting of the Township of Teaneck Council. Township Administration present at tonight's meeting are Jacqueline Hashman, our Township Manager, Doug Riccione, our Township Clerk, Kristen DeNorci, our Deputy Township Clerk, Scott Salmon, our Township Attorney, and Ron Goodman, our Volunteer Cable Master. Upcoming events and council meetings. For the public information, we are currently holding a hybrid format meeting. We have people in person and on Zoom. If our Wi-Fi at the municipal building has an issue where the Zoom meeting drops, we will aim to retrieve the connection and continue the meeting. If you haven't yet signed up for the website and updates and township alerts, please do so. The next regular council meeting will be on Tuesday, December 9th, starting at 6:30. We have the public portion beginning at 8 o'clock. Our municipal offices will be closed tomorrow, November 11th, in observance of Veterans Day. Tomorrow's Veterans Day ceremony has been moved inside here at 11 a.m. Our municipal offices will also be closed on Thursday, November 27th, and Friday, November 28th. Tree lighting on the municipal green will be on Thursday, December 4th at 6 p.m. The council met in closed session to discuss the following: personnel, contracts, zoning, review of fourth round affordable housing compliance and discussion of next steps, legal issues or opinions regarding any items on the open agenda, litigation updates, and Oprah. And with that, we'll start the agenda with presentation. And we'll start with a certificate of recognition for Athens Bakery, led by Deputy Mayor Denise Belcher.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. Okay, so we love to take opportunities to recognize businesses that have been in our town and have served our town residents for many years, and such is the case tonight. And I'd like to ask if Mr. George Manalis could come up and his family. Many of you know Athens Bakery. Okay, Athens Bakery has been a staple within our township for many years, excess of 30 years, and we are super excited to recognize the fact that they have been here and serving our community. In fact, many of our township employees benefit from how close you are to the township offices here. So just to give you some insight, Athens Bakery has been around for many years. They have your roots in Greece, and many of you have experienced the sweet treats that they have from all different types of cookies and cakes and niceties that we have, we all enjoy. So I just would like to introduce, and many of you know already, Mr. and Mrs. Manalis of Athens Bakery, and they have been here how many years? 30 years in town right here on Cedar Lane. So we're super excited for that major milestone to recognize a business that has been around for this length of time. And we just want to recognize and thank you for that. So if we could take a moment to ask you if you'd like to say a few words, and then we'll take a picture.
First of all, I have to thank the councilwoman and councilman to give me this honor, and I have to thank my family and all my customers in Teaneck for the support of me for 30 years to be here. Otherwise, you know, they are behind me all the time. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Manalis, just for Athens Bakery for being a staple business on Cedar Lane for more than 30 years. Thank you for being a member of our community. Can we get a photo with Okay, so Mr. Mayor, if you and colleagues, if you want to chime in.
Sure. Mayor Katz?
Sure, I want to congratulate you on 30 years. First of all, I personally own retail locations. I also used to own bakeries, and it is a very difficult business. Beautiful from the customer side of the counter, but it is very hard on the other side. 23-hour business, I believe, whether it's going out that door or that door. And if it rains, it's a different clientele. If it's sunny, it's a different clientele. Always very challenging. So thank you for your persistence, perseverance, and your dedication to the Teaneck community, and you're putting out your amazing food. And keep it up for another 30 years.
I also want to echo Ellie's comments here. We are so grateful for you coming to Teaneck and bringing a little bit of grease to the community. I think what I love about Teaneck is that there's a little bit of culture all over. We are such a diverse town, and really, you are what makes us special. So thank you so much.
We thought we were going to get some treats tonight, maybe. I'm sure there are many people that you know by name, that know you by name, that have been in and out the door over the years. And that's really what makes us a township and what makes us a community. That's what we call the good stuff. So thank you for being part of our good stuff.
So the mayor of Ridgefield, a guy whose name is Hugo Jimenez, calls me about every week to talk about how delicious you guys are and how amazing you are. And so then I invite him over, come to Teaneck, let's meet there. We'll have some coffee, get some pastries. And I love him, but he always flakes on me because something is always popping up. But I'm going to try and get him there this week because he also wants to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Everybody knows I love to eat. I love to take photos. And I've been going there since I was a little kid. So thank you for everything that you've done for our community. Our diversity is our greatest strength. Food brings people together, always has, always will. And congratulations.
Congratulations, but you didn't introduce who else was in the room. And I know you've worked hard, but I'm sure they've been alongside with you. So I guess I imagine that's your 3 daughters. Okay. Welcome to Teaneck. It's only been 30 years. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I just say something really quick too? Just a quick thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It was weird before. I just want to also, echo what everyone said as well. I have been into your bakery. I really love your bread. Everyone should go get your bread. It's amazing. And when I lived on that side of town, it was great to walk to. So congratulations. Thank you for being part of the community. And I really encourage everyone to go there. And amazing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. More than welcome to stay, leave. We'll be here for 5 more hours, so stay. Okay, with that, we'll go on to the next presentation. That's going to be our Township Poet Laureate, the 2025 Community Poetry Contest. There you go. I didn't see you. Scott, take the lead. Tell us what you want us to do.
No worries, no worries, no worries. Okay, folks, I wanted to take the opportunity to come here tonight just to share some, wonderful community news, I guess. We had an extremely successful 2025 Poet Laureate Community Poetry Contest. We had over 80 submissions, and out of those 80 submissions, we narrowed it down and we picked 4 winners. We're calling them winners, but actually everybody was a winner who participated. It was a really cool event. In conjunction with that, out on the municipal green at the Children's Reading Garden, we had the opportunity to erect a permanent poetry marker. So in your travels, if you're out and about, please share that there's a really cool poem on the municipal green entitled Ode to Teaneck, and it's written by somebody that I know. So please go out there and take a look. With that said, tonight we invited the 4 winners to come here to not only be recognized, but just to take a couple of minutes and share what they wrote. We have 2 amazing students and we have 2 outstanding adults. And we have another special young man who I asked to come out. His name is William Dempsey. William is the youngest person to submit to our contest. And he's all of council. He's all of 8 years old. So yeah, we're in for a treat. So with that said, I would like for William to come up. Are you ready? And he's going to share his poem, and his poem is entitled Teaneck Is. Am I right? All right, come on up, Will. Can you reach that? Get out of your way. I'm gonna do what you.
Teaneck is full of nature with many plants, wildlife, and trees. Teaneck is where I feel free. Teaneck is filled with great books, from our large public library to our little free libraries. Teaneck is beautiful in the many places you look. Teaneck is filled with great playgrounds and parks, great for playing. Teaneck is great, that is what I'm saying. Teaneck is also full of great schools, like my school. Teaneck is just so cool. Teaneck is home to delicious food like pizza, bagels, empanadas, and desserts like ice cream. Teaneck is one big team. Teaneck is where most of my friends live. That is another thing that Teaneck gives. Teaneck is where I can roam. Teaneck is our home.
We're gonna call you back. All right, we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna call William back up. And one of the other reasons why I thought it was so important for William to come out. Over the past couple of years, I've been interviewed several times, and one of the things that they always ask me is, do I remember the first poem that I read? Now, the first poem that I read was called My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. That's about all I remember. So now William's going to have a memory that's documented, that's recorded in front of our, whatever it is, forever. And that's why it was so important for him to be here. So I'd like to give him another round of applause. Okay, we're going to move forward. We're going to move to our next student poet. This young lady wrote a fantastic poem. She didn't have the opportunity to come out when we did the festivities at the library, but she is with us tonight. And I asked Mayor Pagan to bring down her certificates that we, Council Member Pagan, to bring down our certificates that we didn't have an opportunity to present to her at the library. So with that said, D'Angelic Jimenez, come on up. You gotta read. You can read it off of that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay. The trees of OT stand tall. Kids playing in piles, walking through homes, skipping through miles. They are bursting out laughing while walking down sidewalk, stepping on the crunchy orange leaves, seeing the color change while the summer leaves.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Okay, now our next student reader, I'm not going to give you the backstory on why he didn't read at the event. However, he's with us tonight, and I am so excited to hear him read his poem. The unique thing about his poem was he wrote a poem using the word Teaneck, and it's called an acrostic poem, where you take the first letter in each of the word and you make a sentence and a poem out of it. So it was extremely creative and extremely good. Put your hands together and welcome Ethan Solomon.
Hi, my name is Ethan Solomon, and I wrote this acrostic poem for the Township of Teaneck. Trees tell different stories under the warm colors of the sky. Every corner holds stories as people pass by. All around, cultures blend a history so powerful, nurturing a town where everyone can stand proud. Energy of the young fills the playful parks, creating memories that leave their marks. Kindness flows throughout the streets, a town so strong.
You got it? I got it? You have this. I have it. All right, we'll get you back. Appreciate you. Ethan Solomon. All right. All right, now we're going to move to our adult poets. This young lady wrote a very interesting poem. And Adria, are you Andrea? Okay, all right. Andrea. Andrea? Andrea? I got it? Wait, then, hold on. Then in 45 seconds, I don't feel too bad, right? Okay, all right. Warm bush? Warm flash? All right, 2 strikes. I'm gonna leave the last name alone. We're gonna bring her up here and ask her to read her poem. At the event, actually, her son had the opportunity to read her poem, and I was so grateful because I thought I might have to read it, and then I started looking at it and realizing that I would have been I wouldn't have been able to read it. Let me just put it that way and stuff. But the part that did strike me in her poem, and we corresponded on it, and it was a little point of inspiration. And the question that I had was whether or not to capitalize the word hope in her poem. And she told me how important it was to make sure that word was capitalized. So let's put our hands together and we're going to welcome Miss Rosenbaum to the stage.
Okay, I was not very prepared and I did not bring my poem big, so it's just on my phone, so hopefully I won't mess up too much. It's called the Teaneck Greenhouse. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have this amazing greenhouse all the way on the other side of Teaneck, and I've met some incredible people there, and it's changed my life. Oh, thank you. Perfect. The Teaneck Greenhouse lives at the end of Lindbergh Boulevard, nestled by trees. Garden club plots placed shoulder to shoulder, waiting to be tilled and filled. Possibilities thrive within the elderly steel structure of our greenhouse, first transformed in 1954. Glass walls reflect as neighbors discover themselves and each other, sharing the rise and fall of laughter, individual philosophies, and a multitude of methods concerning how to wake a still seed. Past the glass door, you'll find leaves of various shapes, sizes, textures, and colors. Figs, ferns, phalaenopsis, coleus, caladium, and croton, all reaching for the same sun. The scent of life is insistent as a rainbow of hands works side by side in the soil. The heater hums while fans whirl and beat in a repeating rhythm. Even in dark, frigid February, seedlings softly sing a verdant song in the humid air. Plants don't care about politics or religion. They are colorblind. Here, hope stirs life, wafting, floating, whispering, welcome to everyone.
And that's the Teaneck Greenhouse. Now, our final poet for the night took us on a journey, and I am so appreciative of the journey that she took us on. She explains to us how important it is to be amongst a community of Teaneck. And as life takes you in different directions, we might hear this often, it pulls you this way, it pulls you that way. But for some reason, Teaneck seems to always pull you back. And within her poem, she gives a wonderful poetic description of her journey. So with that said, I welcome Kende Naomi Sal.
Good evening. I crossed oceans to get here. A child of West Africa carrying war in my lungs. It was Teaneck where I finally exhaled, where this town became my second cradle. Unpack our lives and plant the roots that bloom along Teaneck Road. Between Cedar Lane, steady hums rising from temples, mosques, and churches, a symphony of faith, a chorus of languages and traditions woven together like the branches shading Voti Park. I grew up in its school. From the halls to the blue walls, a castle on the hill where dreams felt reachable, where every teacher showed me that hope isn't just inherited, it's nurture. I stacked books, let story whisper the way into me and wore compassion like a uniform back then. Summer nights tasted sweet, soft serve melting quicker than the evening sky, its sweetness linger, like laughter driven down Queen and Row or footstep past the Voltaire's open field Teaneck. I've seen you worship in every language, Christian hymns, Hebrew prayers, the Muslim call to prayer echoing at dawn. You are more than what outsiders imagine, a quilt stitch with cultures, color, cuisine, and countless story. I tried to leave you twice, but my father needed steady hands. Destiny pulled me back. And you, Teaneck, open your arms again and show me that home isn't it's only where you live, it's where your story carry. Here, streets aren't just absurd, they are memory lanes, arteries that pump life through families and generations. You are not just where I live, you are where I have become. The soil that caught my footstep, the sky that covered my prayers, the place that raised me, released me, and welcomed me back again. You are more my compass, my keeper, my song forever and always. Teaneck, thank you.
I'm going to ask our poets to please come forward. Once again, please step forward. Come on up. We got some certificates. Come down. Come on. Mayor, come on down. I got it, Doug. I got it. 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 I got it.
Okay, we got state legislator. Why don't you read it out? You got.
I got.
You can read.
No. We also have, we've been privileged to have some certificates from the state of New Jersey, Senate and General Assembly, their citations. And the citations read, in celebration of the Teaneck Poet 2025 Community Poetry Contest, we salute you and congratulate you as an esteemed winner by the citizenry of the 37th New Jersey Legislative District through their elective representatives, Senator Gordon Johnson, Assembly members Shama Hadia and Ellen Park. So these are a step up from our council. They won't say it, but they are and stuff. And they're really, really cool. So we like for you to have these also. Okay. One last. Now, before we take our final photos, I want to just take a minute and I want to recognize, I'd like the council to also recognize, we have another amazing person in the audience with us. He's a young man from BF, 8th grade student, And he was out there with us. He volunteered to come out there with us when we did the ceremony in the library reopening. His parents were generous enough to bring him back out here again this evening. His name is Reed Hassan, and he's right here. He's our student photographer. Wave your hand so they know who you are.
You're in BF? Wow. Okay. I thought you were my age. Okay. Certificate of Appreciation. Outstanding photographic contributions. Rita Hassana, Teaneck Poet Laureate, 2025 Community Poetry Contest. Scott Pleasance, our Poet Laureate, Teaneck, New Jersey. And I actually didn't realize we were that young, but what I appreciate about you was this. Took the picture, no comments, no retakes. Everyone knows when you're a good photographer, you don't have to go on and on and on, and you made it happen each one. Just give us that thumb that you were doing the other day. Yeah, exactly. It was like next. Appreciate your, thank you very much for all your help. And we look forward to seeing you at many more council meetings.
There we go. Okay. Okay.
Oh, one more. Okay.
That's the cool guy,
Okay.
William Dempsey.
William Dempsey, where are you? Oh, you were just delaying bedtime, we know. Okay. This is our certificate of recognition to William Dempsey for your poem Teaneck Is, signed by the mayor, myself, Karen Organ, our deputy mayor, Denise Belcher, our deputy mayor, Daniel G, councilwoman, Hillary Goldberg, councilwoman, Ellie Katz, councilman, Michael Pagan, our councilman, and our township manager, Jacqueline Hashmat. You want to hold that up? We're going to take a picture with them. All right.
Can you come down for a picture? It's like 2 seconds. Come on. Come on. Put your shoes on. Yeah. Okay, what I want y'all to do. Yeah. What I'm talking. Little Will is never. I forgot. Little Will is never. No. I like that. Oh, that what? Ready? See that? We're good? All right. That is cool.
Good job. Good to see you again.
Good. No regrets, right?
Hey. And continuing the meeting. Go work session items, miscellaneous, old business, new business, communications, committee reports by council liaison. Anyway,
Mr. Mayor?
yes, ma'am.
I have two. So PPRAB met the first week in November. The after-school program at Rhoda Center is fully enrolled, 125 students for after-school K through 8. Sunshine Gardens has 22 preschoolers that was reported, and they're still doing tours. They're doing fall recreation classes that are
All right,
full.
can you talk closer to your microphone, perhaps? Sorry.
I can try. Okay, can you hear me now? I'm trying.
Yes.
Not very
Okay,
good.
start one more time,
Sorry.
please. Thank you.
Okay, PPRAB met. The after-school program is fully enrolled at Rhoda Center, 125 students, K through 8, and Sunshine Gardens has 22 preschoolers, and they're doing tours, so if anybody wants to go on that tour. And senior programming is one of our strongest engagement areas with more than 700 registrants for this session, including computers and activities. They discussed the inclusive playground, which I think is also later on, but I just wanted to give the report piece. So their request based on the community survey, that priorities identified were shade and seating, adaptive swing options, sensory play, and embedded movement graphics, a designated quiet area, which is required under Jake's Law. And the co-chairs are preparing a short summary to send to full council, engineering, and the manager. They also requested that we fund the skateboard park for 2026 and asked that I ask about insurance impact on that. They were discussing putting it in Botee Park, but they wanted to confirm the insurance impact first. So I guess that's a question for Jackie. I just want to finish this piece first. And then I presented, and I will forward to full council, the Environmental Commission put together a recommendation that they haven't discussed yet as a board yet, but they want to have a joint meeting with PPRAB, the Environmental Commission, and the Fields Advisory Board regarding turf. PPRB's discussed their report and understands that there are I'm going to say this part wrong, I'm sorry, non-microplastic turf systems. Wow, that was a mouthful, I'm sorry. That do exist, which is why the inquiry about the joint meeting was. I'll forward the full report. That was it. So, Madam Manager, if you could find out about the insurance impact on the skateboard park, and so I can get back to them. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have an update on the insurance, and the manager will report on that in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Just a brief report. Historic Preservation has been meeting. We're working on some additional markers throughout the township, so you should be hearing and seeing about some unveiling of markers. And I just want to mention another historic event that's upcoming. The Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day is on November 14th, and all of our schools are participating in it. There are some really great programs surrounding this. As we all know, Ruby Bridges was a important person within our civil rights movement, and it's great that our young people are learning about her and the sacrifice that she made and throughout her life. So try to attend or try to find out more information about the November 14th event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on community reports?
For everybody who came out to the library grand opening on Sunday, we had 2,500 people there. I'm not sure there are any books left in the library, but it was a wonderful event put on by the library staff, library board, and friends of the library. And it was really nice to see everybody come together in a fun and wonderful way. Tomorrow, Patriotic Observance Advisory Board, for anyone who didn't hear, 11 o'clock, we'll have our Veterans Day celebration inside. And the ad hoc informal budget finance not advisory board met on 2 separate Zooms. One was very, one of them was very, I'm trying to think of the word, a lot of energy and a lot of great ideas. And we're hoping to sit down together in person with the manager, the mayor, and the CFO and talk about this going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. How many people were at the library open house? I think we had a number of 20.
2,500.
2,500.
There's a door counter.
So, okay, any else on reports? We'll go to council listed items, recycling rules, which omitted Deputy Mayor Organ, so I'm going to turn the mic over to her on the recycling rules question.
I was wondering if we could get a report maybe at the January meeting from DPW and the attorney, what is required for us to do in terms of recycling and how much it costs us to recycle. I know sometimes we have single stream recycling, and I'd love to know where everything goes, where it ends up, how much we're paying for it, if we're actually helping the environment or just paying a lot of money to get rid of what becomes garbage.
I'll say that less politely. I think we're throwing half the stuff in the garbage. I think that we're doing it because it's a state rule. I think we're spending a lot of money because it's a state rule. And it used to be that we made money on it, and it used to be then when we made less money on it. And then China said, we don't want your garbage. And we're still sending it out. And I think we're dumping into landfills. The residents are catching on to that because there's no such thing as single stream, double stream. They see it being commingled, and we're pretty sure no one's unmingling it. So if we can just see who's full of it, because someone is, and then we can push work. And I'm sure we would have 550 other municipalities that would love to reduce the recycling requirements, not because they're not recycling. We'd love to recycle, but not when it's going into the garbage. We'll just let our garbage companies pick it up if that's the case. We're all for recycling so long as it goes to recycling. So if we can have a frank and honest conversation with ourselves first and then take it up, that would be appreciated. Was that said as not politely?
Mine was much nicer.
Yeah, I know.
Can I ask a question for the attorney? Wasn't the 1987 Recycling Act a thing? Like we're required to recycle. I don't think we're going to undo the 1987 Act. I guess it's a Scott question.
Oh, it's a lifelong thing. We're never going to change.
I don't know, but it's the 1987 Recycling Act. Scott?
Great.
That's correct. That's the current law. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we want to know if where is it going, and if it's going in the garbage, and which is the case, the 1987 Act could be enacted. And we'll work with our other league of municipalities because there's billions of dollars being spent, which we suspect, and maybe we're wrong, is going in the garbage.
If we could get that added to the report in January, that would be great.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Okay. Township managers report.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council and Township residents. The best practices inventory was designed as part of the former Governor Christie's toolkit to provide measures and incentives designed to support local governments in planning and managing their budgets more effectively, and set up a platform that enables officials at all levels of government to do a better job reviewing their existing services, programs, and workforces, and setting budget priorities. The score on a municipality's inventory coincides with the amount of withheld state aid, if any, for the municipality's final payment, with the maximum withholding penalty set at 5% of the final December state aid installment. For 2025, the minimum score required to retain 100% of a municipality's state aid payment was a score of 32 or more points. The township's checklist earned a score of 40.5 points. Leaf collection is fully underway. Our DPW is working to collect the leaves as quickly and efficiently as possible. This is yet another year where the leaves are falling late in the season. Our no parking signs will be posted on the streets starting this Friday, November 14th, for collection starting on Monday, November 17th. This new system will drastically speed up the leaf collection process for the township. Please look out for these no parking signs in your quadrant, and please follow the signs accordingly. Due to the ongoing government shutdown, over 1,052 Teaneck families that rely on SNAP benefits may experience serious delays in receiving assistance. The Township of Teaneck, in collaboration with Never Alone Again Food Pantry, are asking our generous Teaneck community to come together between now and Thanksgiving to help support a townwide food drive. Please bring non-perishable food items to the following drop-off locations: Teaneck Township Hall, the Rhoda Center, and also the Never Alone Again Food Pantry located at 1465 Palisade Avenue. Please be advised that due to the cold weather and expected wind gusts, our Veterans Day ceremony has been moved indoors to council chambers for tomorrow, November 11th at 11 a.m. Our turkey drive is set to take place on November 22nd, with additional details to be posted later this week. The Township's annual toy drive kicks off today with drop-off locations at Township Hall, all fire stations, the police department, the library, and the Rhoda Center. The Teaneck Public Library is now officially open. The reopening event brought upwards of 2,200 visitors, and we look forward to everyone enjoying our newly renovated space. The Township's annual tree lighting ceremony is scheduled for December 4th at 6 p.m. on the Municipal Green. And in addition, our menorah lighting event is scheduled for December 15th at 5:30, also on the Municipal Green. Our first Kwanzaa event is tentatively scheduled for Sunday, December 28th, with additional details to follow. The project titled Route 4 Eastbound and Decatur Avenue ramp widening is once again delayed and now scheduled to start the week of November 17th. This work will require full closure of the Decatur Avenue exit ramp, and detours will be in place. Our 2026 department budget hearings were successfully completed this past week. The CFO and I will continue our review of the operating budget for this upcoming year. PSE&G is scheduled to deliver a large piece of equipment called a switchgear to the substation on Palisades Avenue around November 14th, but this date is subject to change. This is intended to upgrade the existing substations around the state for continuity. Proper notifications will be in place once confirmed, and this delivery may disrupt some Rhoda Center programming. On November 20th at Temple Emeth, the Chamber of Commerce is hosting the 2025 Spotlight on Teaneck Businesses Dinner, celebrating the best businesses and organizations in Teaneck. This dinner, formerly known as the Community Awards Dinner, is meant to put a spotlight on some very deserving businesses and organizations that help to make Teaneck so special. If interested, please refer to the link to purchase tickets that will be available on our website. Some grant updates we have for you tonight. We have completed a grant application for New Jersey Division of Highway Safety, Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over Year-End Holiday Crackdown. I'm also working with Millennium Strategies to prepare our CDBG application that is due the end of December. For our project updates, the Argonne Park tennis courts are scheduled to be lined this week, and they will be reopened upon completion. The Bell Avenue Drainage Project, the contractor has completed the milling and paving of Bell Avenue from Beatrice to Sagamore Avenue. The Bell Avenue Bioswales Project is out to bid and is also scheduled for bid opening November 25th. Our 2024 road resurfacing project will commence in the spring due to the expected cold temperatures. We have about 8 streets that still need to be completed, and they will be prioritized in spring of 2026. Brooks Park Exercise Station, this project is also out to bid, and the bid opening will be scheduled for November 25th, and the restrooms are currently in the design phase. Sagamore Park improvements, the concept plan has been updated to include a rock climbing feature in place of the splash pad, as well as an additional multi-person swing and a small climbing feature in another area of the park. The Maple Avenue improvements, work is underway and progressing. The Phelps Park splash pad, the bids were opened on October 15th, and we plan to award the contract at our next council meeting. Palisades Avenue, West Tryon, and Galway Place improvements, the construction is scheduled to begin this week. Some general updates I have for you is the no parking signage has been successfully installed on the west side of Decatur Avenue between Alfred Avenue and Tejan. Wishing you and your families a very happy Thanksgiving. That's all I have for you tonight, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, on the best practices inventory, so I'm glad that we got the 100% funding. Are there areas, like low-hanging fruit areas, that we can improve on next year? Because I want to make sure that we don't lose the 2 points and get hit with the 25%. Is there anything that we identified to be proactive for that for next year?
I did go through the list with ISA, and there are certain items that we are going to concentrate on that we can always do better on that we've made notes on.
I had one specific question on question 12 about the volunteer tuition credits. I know we don't have a volunteer fire department, but we do have TVAC, and maybe just something to come back to in our next meeting. We didn't we answered NA because of that, but is there an opportunity that we can access the state tuition credit program through us to get them the benefit for TVAC, and then we also get the point too? Is that something we can look into?
Sure, I'll ask the CFO if we can look into that with the auditor.
And then I just have one other question also, it's not urgent, I just want to get back to a question for next meeting for the lead inspections. What's the process for the lead unit inspections to conduct the follow-up? Because it says that we did 771 visuals, 75 units certified, but we didn't do the post remediation. Is that something that we can improve on for next year to get the point? I don't know the process at all.
I will check in with our health department and check why that was. I'm not quite sure, but I will look into it.
Thank you. And then just one last, I saw for an easier point that all our neighboring towns do this. This seems like an easy one, I think. Putting the labor contracts on the website, that seems like an easy transparency one, and we get the point for it. Is that something that we can put on the website?
Absolutely. I'll make sure that they get on the website.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. And sorry, I punted it to you. I'll take it back. The skate park is the new insurance company gave us a thumbs up on the skate park and said any insurance is negligible, and therefore, if our PPRB and our fields, because it is part of the field, can look at that and see what it would take to move that in the next direction, that would be appreciated.
No problem.
Okay, on to legal report. Sorry, I apologize.
Yep, that's okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, real quick, there's one ordinance that's being introduced that I want to mention. This is ordinance 41-2025 related to the application review committee of the land use boards. This is an amendment of an ordinance that the council adopted in December of last year. This was at the request of the chair of the planning board to resolve some items of confusion that the committee was having about primarily about who was responsible for certain things, such as who was responsible for sending out correspondence on behalf of the board, and when that correspondence had to be sent. And then there was some, I'll say, other typos and things like that, and grammatical things that we wanted to fix as well while we were doing this. And the final addition was on the second page of this is to add there's a $15 fee for publication of the board's decision. That is a fee that we previously charged before we introduced this, but while we were adopting the original version of it, for some reason that $15 fee just got dropped, and so we're just adding it back into where it belongs.
Which number is this?
This is ordinance 41-2025.
Tonight.
Just being introduced tonight.
Understood.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Good. And now we'll go to the public hearing and adoption of tonight's ordinances. Mr. Clerk, please read.
Right.
Clerk, I'm sorry, my apologies.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So we have two ordinances up tonight for adoption. We have ordinance 38-2025, which is authorizing a special emergency appropriation in the amount of $990,000 pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-53H for the payment of contractually required severance liabilities of the Township of Teaneck in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey. And then ordinance 39-2025, amending section 36-11.2 of chapter 36 of the Township Code for the Township of Teaneck, adding a restricted on-street parking space for handicap parking at 992 Allen Court.
Okay. This hearing is now open just for the for the public. It'll just be on these two ordinances, 38 and 39. With that said, is there anyone in the public that'd like to speak about that? Councilman Sohn.
Former Councilman Sohn, Teaneck resident. I'm speaking in support of Ordinance 38-2025, which covers an emergency appropriation of $990,000 in roughly the same way that if there was a pile of poop in the middle of the council chambers, I would want it to be cleaned up. But with this ordinance and with the pile, no, it's already cleaned up. As with the pile of poop, I'd want to know, how did it happen? Why did it happen? Who's the mystery pooper? What can we do to prevent this from happening again? My wife and I are largely retired, and we have the gift of being able to retire at this age because we did this program of setting aside money in previous years so that we would have that money later on. We got the advice from a financial planner to do that. Everybody does that. Everybody should be doing that. The $990,000 that's covered this evening is for accumulated leave. We knew that these people would eventually be retiring, and there is a huge amount of money that is outstanding for those retirements. The audit report on page 60 says that there's $12.9 million in accumulated leave liability that's available to this township. We had an opportunity to set aside money, and I assume that just as our financial planner did, that your CFOs, your township managers, your auditors have been telling you that you should be setting aside money for this. But let me give you an even worse example. We were setting aside money for this. During my time on council as a former councilman, I spent $2 million allocated towards accumulated leave. In 2017 and 2018, there was $700,000 set aside each year. In 2019, that amount was cut to $1. $1. The actual amount accumulated, spent on that accumulated leave was $1,340,000. We didn't need to add something in. We just needed to keep in there and set aside money that we had already been in the budget. And instead, that $700,000 was used to claim that we were cutting expenditures. Shifting expenditures and moving them to debt is part of what has caused the problem here. Later on tonight, there'll be Resolution 308, which covers $35 million in bond anticipation notes. This is just a small part of that. We have almost $100 million in the budget ahead. I had a chance to attend the manager's budget meetings. And again, many of the items in the budget are going to be even higher than expected. Next year may be more than 14%. It may be 15, 16, 17, 18%. This is just a small example of why not leaving things in the budget, you're going to pay the price now or pay it later. And Teaneck residents are going to pay that price next year.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in the audience on these ordinances only? Seeing no other hands, Mr. Clerk, do you have anyone on Zoom on these ordinances? We do not. That said, this hearing is now closed. Any comments on that before we call for a roll call?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to discuss 38 for a minute. I
Yes.
can vote on 39 and we can come back to 38 or whichever. I'm fine, whichever the clerk prefers. I can't hear, I'm sorry.
30. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Based on what former Councilman Sohn said, what's our plan to stop this?
Absolutely not. This has been discussed for about 30 years since the hiring. And it's very simple. The set asides for the salary, and maybe if the manager wanted to chime in, was not done since day one of their hiring. The state laws have changed for new hires. I forget how many we're down to with the significant buyouts. I think we have 5 or 6 left. Every single year, Councilman Katz, perhaps probably for decades now, we do have the same conversation. And it's simple. We could take money from everyone today, put it aside, and pay for a retiree in 5 years that was hired 30 years ago. Or when that retiree chooses to retire, we can take his payout of the 5 or 6 left, borrow it at a reduced fund and a reduced amount, and I forget the amount that the state allows for it. And this council, year after year after year, before I was even in this town in the 90s, made that decision to do that. And the laws have only changed to our favor. So we're not going to tax everyone in this town now to set aside, unless there's people on this dais that want to make that motion. Now, with all due respect, and we had this last time, you refused to vote for the budget. You refused to vote for a budget that taxed X. And now you want to say, I don't want to vote to increase the budget, but I want to vote to add more to the budget. So if you'd like to make that motion, that's absolutely your.
I want to know how much interest our residents are going to pay on the $12.9 million of our exposed liability and how we're going to plan for it if it potentially hits in 1 year, because that's what we have right now, $12.9 million. It's in the 2024 audit.
It's in 12.9. So you make that
2024 audit, we have $12.9 million in liability, and that could hit next year, that could hit in 10 years. How much interest are they going to pay for it? And how is funding a trust that was funded as of 2018? New spending, but borrowing, I'm asking a question, borrowing with interest is not.
So I'm not going to answer your question. You're either going to make the motion to tax the residents or you're not.
Okay.
Because the last motion to tax the residents was a budget that you refused to vote for. So either make the
I
motion
actually wasn't
or
there,
don't.
so I wasn't there.
Is there are you making a motion?
I am asking the question for the whole governing body to have a discussion because that's what our residents deserve.
Absolutely. We had the discussion now. Everyone can chime in. We can have it every budget meeting, every meeting as we've had for decades. So
Okay. So if
anyone else
$12.9
would like
million
to add something?
hits, what are we just going to keep going until we hit 10 million in severance liability?
Until these are employees that earned their time, and until the state changed the rules, and the state did change the rules. So we have existing employees that get very hefty payouts of time they deserve. Though when they fully retire, that will drop down to zero. But right now,
How
if
much are
you're
we paying in
asking-
interest on top of that?
I'm not paying anything in interest. I'm a
You
resident
are.
here.
Last time we paid 5% in interest last year. The year before it was 4.3.
So make
This year,
the
I don't know. We're
motion.
going on the market.
Okay.
What's the
Either
difference?
Make the motion to tax the residents, or make the motion to approve the ordinance.
I'm asking a question. I'm having a discussion. If
I
you
just
can make
answered
your own
it.
motions.
Is there
I'm not
anyone else that
going
wants
to
to
be
have this
bullied into
conversation?
making a motion. I'm asking a question. I'm having a discussion with the full governing body.
Anybody else want to answer that question or have the conversation? Seeing no other hands, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 38 of 2025 and 39 of 2025. Ms. Clerk, call the roll call, please. There's a second. Is there a second on that? Thank you. Ms. Clerk, call the roll call.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
Abstain.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jake,
Yes.
Councilman Katz, Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Abstain. Okay, those are approved. Meetings open to good and welfare. 3 minutes on any topic you'd like. We voted on both. I made the motion for both, and it was seconded for both, and I abstained them. I abstained. Handicap parking. It's close. Which one? Good and welfare. And in more than 3 minutes, Dr. Yuck, Mr. Balloon, you're next.
Good evening, Phil Young, Teaneck resident. I'm going to read a statement from the leadership of the Northwest of Cedar Lane Neighborhood Association. Leadership. We, the Northwest of Cedar Lane Neighborhood Association leadership team, appreciate the modifications Crossroads has made to the Beverly Road American Legion Drive redevelopment plan. However, we feel it does not address the most important aspect of development in Teaneck. That is the revitalization of our business districts. As discussed in the township's master plan and as presented by a township resident and professional planner, and everybody on the dais saw that report, proceeding with the Crossroads plan as presented will stymie any possibility of development on Cedar Lane. Building C's current design will permanently limit the redevelopment potential of the retail frontage. There will not be sufficient area to replace existing businesses with viable contemporary retail on Cedar Lane between Garrison Avenue and Windsor Road. We urge the council to consider building from the business district back rather than build into it as the current proposal does. We are not opposed to development or increasing the availability of moderate income housing. What we are concerned about is one-off proposals that do not cohere with the wishes of our residents to maintain Teaneck's suburban character. We want to expand affordable housing availability and create a vibrant and attractive business district that fits well into our community. We urge the council to take a more comprehensive approach to development in Teaneck by tabling this proposal and moving forward with a more encompassing plan that addresses both housing and business needs. Thank you. So
Thank you very much, Dr. Young.
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
I still have a minute. So that's from the leadership of the Northwest of Cedar Lane Neighborhood Association. I just want to say, I want to talk about flooding as a resident. So as you know, we had a fairly big storm about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and Bell Avenue flooded. After all that was done in the park, Bell Avenue flooded. Now, I was at my gym during the storm, so I don't know how bad the storm was compared to what happened on September 1st, but of 2021. But I suspect this was not as bad a storm as that. So as far as I know, the water did not go into people's basements this time, but I'm wondering what's going to happen. I don't know if the bioswales will be enough or if there's anything, if there's a problem in the system in the park. And maybe Jackie can tell us about that. But I'm still concerned about the future of flooding in the Bell Avenue area. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yak. Mr. Berliner.
Avi Berliner, Teaneck resident. I can tell you that most this past month, we actually asked about that storm because we met shortly thereafter. We had the engineer there. I cannot speak for her, but she said that while there was water on the streets, she was not aware of any reports of any water in people's basements. So if that still holds true, that does sound to be an improvement. So,
Mr. Berliner, just address the council.
yeah, I apologize. Two items just for clarification. One is PPREB related. It's good to hear that the insurance is still the same, and it's good to hear that the current manager gave a consistent report as the deputy manager back in February in 2024 when PPREB asked, is there any insurance implications for the skate park? And the report came back that it is negligible. So it's good to see that that is still consistent. With regards to the Fields Advisory Board, I know the comment was brought up before. You were all here. You all heard when we presented back at the end of February of this year that one of the vendors that we spoke with at the direction of council, along with the Department of Recreation and the DPW, mentions that they do not use PFAS, they do not use microplastics, and that's because they actually sell for professional fields and stadiums in Europe, and that's part of the required laws over there. So that's something that we weren't necessarily looking into at the time, but we found to be very compelling for that particular vendor. Again, ultimate selection is in the hands of council. At the end of the summer, I received an email from someone, I think maybe from the Environmental Commission. It did not come from the Environmental Commission, raising concerns, I guess it was 7 months after that initial presentation. Shared with them the information that we did have. I said that I would always be more than happy to have that conversation with them over a cup of coffee, whatever they preferred. I never did hear back, and we did make the councilwoman aware of that email and that conversation when we spoke about it at PPRAB last week, I think it was. And actually, the PPRAB representative to the Fields Advisory Board was there to confirm that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Berlin. Anybody else in the audience would like to speak? Corey. First time speaking, I believe, right? Yes. Welcome to Teaneck.
Thanks. Well, I'm Tori Marino. I moved to Teaneck 3 years ago. I'm 42. I have a young son, and honestly, I needed my parents' help to move here and buy a house. But I chose Teaneck because I wanted a walkable downtown where my son could grow with independence. But when I walk down Cedar Lane, I don't see a thriving business district bustling with people. And neighbors keep telling me stories like, you should have seen Cedar Lane back in the day. It used to be so vibrant. And I keep wondering what happened. So I started asking questions, and I keep hearing similar stories. There are aging homeowners living in homes that are too big. They want to stay in Teaneck, but want to downsize. And then there are young families in need of that 2 or 3 bedroom home who can't find anything affordable. And these two groups could help each other. But when people look at their options in Teaneck, they discover that there really aren't any. The housing choices just are not there. Teaneck's own master plan shows this mismatch. Half of our households are just 1 or 2 people, but 75% of our housing stock is single family homes. Our population is aging. We've seen a 24% increase in residents over 60 in the last decade. So when housing needs change, parents age, adult children want to stay close to family, young teachers or firefighters want to live in town, families need a little extra income, regular homeowners can't respond. Why? Because our zoning codes go from single family homes straight to buildings with up to 12 units, nothing in between, no gentle options. That's 75% of Teaneck, over 10,000 properties that can't evolve to meet changing needs. But the only people that can build in most of Teaneck would be large developers with big budgets and legal teams. And this is actually a nationwide story. After World War II, towns across America, and Teaneck included, adopted zoning codes that make it illegal for neighborhoods to grow gradually. We separated everything into rigid categories, only houses here, only businesses there, and nothing in between. So now, when only large developers can navigate our system, we get large projects. Large projects create the opposition and controversy we've all seen. So what if we gave residents more options? What if housing in Teaneck could grow incrementally, not through massive projects that concentrate change in one neighborhood, but through many small choices by many homeowners? Organizations like Strong Towns call this incremental development. The idea is simple. Change should be gradual and shared. No neighborhood experiences radical transformation, but no neighborhood stays frozen in time either. It's how towns used to grow, gradually, organically, through choices made by people who actually live in the community. So some neighbors and I who share a love for this town started an organization called Strong Towns Teaneck. We want to work with the council, with residents, anyone who cares about Teaneck's future to figure out what barriers exist in our code. How do we create more housing? How do we make building easier? And right now, only large developers can afford the costs and navigate the complexity of shaping how Teaneck grows. And we think residents deserve more choices, and Teaneck's future requires more options. strongtownsteaneck@gmail.com if you're interested, and I'll be back in December with more.
Thank you very much, Troy. Amrit?
Amrit Ramjatan, Teaneck resident. So I'd just like to follow up on Argonne Park, specifically those tennis courts. Caught some flack this weekend from my sister. Since they were closed, they definitely should be open, especially from previous council meetings. I thought we just had punch list items, so just formally, do we know what caused the delay? Can the township claim penalties against those delays if it's really on the contractor's side? Do we have an official date for the courts to be reopened? What exactly needs to be done as far as punch list goes? And I did happen to send an email to the manager about that damaged fence. Does that come out of insurance, or is that a change order we need to pay, or how does that get repaired? Now, with regards to municipal taxes, is there any information that the council can share? Can you elaborate on any increases? What are we looking at point-wise? 12, 13, 14, 15? Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we still in the double digits? What can be cut from the budget? If you're looking for suggestions, no more capital projects. I think we're done with parks and any kind of improvements. It's getting kind of tricky now to balance all of this. You can't enjoy a park if you get priced out of town. It just doesn't make sense. Now, my usual topic is a green building. I'm still asking the council to adopt a green building code. It'll complement our master plan and helps ensure we have environmentally friendly and sustainable building standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the room like to speak? Councilman Sona, then Mr. Rogovan afterwards.
Still former Councilman Alan Sohn. The last I heard from the budget from our CFO was that the estimate was an increase of 14.4% for 2026, followed by 16.7% the following year. These were baseline assumptions, and some of those facts have changed. The amount of borrowing has increased, which adds another quarter of a point. I had the opportunity to attend several of the manager's budget hearings and get reports from some of the others, and there's been a tremendous amount of delayed maintenance, delayed attention to details that have just been impossible to do because of lack of funding in previous budgets. That has come to roost. The state health benefit plan has announced that they're going to have a mind-blowing increase in the cost of healthcare. That's also going to top that up. So the question of how did we get here has to be asked. When I passed budgets in 2014 for the years 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, there was a total of nearly $2 million to cover terminal leave. It has never been zero, other than in the recent years. There has been money set aside. And one of the best ways to do that is to leave money in the budget, to not take it out of the budget and allow that money to accumulate so that as tax appeals come in, as snow falls, as people retire, that we have the money already in the budget to cover at least a significant portion of that. Teaneck has one of the lowest percentages of money available to cover terminal leave relative to the size of its terminal leave, accumulated leave amount, as reported in the audit. We do have an opportunity to make some changes, but I think we need to look at a total picture, at a very, very big picture. How are we going to change this? How are taxpayers going to pay an increase of $750, $800, $900 next year, followed by what could be a $1,000 increase the following year? That's not the price of doing business. That's the price of not doing the work of crafting budgets. That's the price of not having priorities. That's the price of not presenting to the public an honest budget that covers the expenses that increase at a minimum 2% for most employees and other things each year. Those 0% budgets have come to roost. And now it's the time to pay them. How are we going to do that? How is any council member going to look a taxpayer in the face and say, no, 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 it's your responsibility in 1 year after another to cover $800 to $1,000 more on the average home? Those people who had the biggest campaign signs for some candidates are going to be paying the biggest increases, several $1,000s per family per year. Every family is going to be hit hard. And again, the question of how we got this point, it's through neglect, it's through shifting things to debt, it's through not setting aside the money we need to cover our bills. Thank you.
Paula Rogovin. On yesterday at the Teaneck International Film Festival, we showed the film Plastic People, and it's a kind of a scare, more than scary film about microplastics in the human body. And I would just like to propose that we ask the festival to show that film again so that members of the council and various committees, the Parks Committee and so on, see that film, because this is about a real significant issue, very dangerous problem that we face and that we can confront, we can deal with it. On a different topic, at the zoning subcommittee in October, we heard the newest plans for Crossroads development. And the newest plan had a 4-story building in the L-shaped municipal parking lot, an American Legion Drive our parking lot, another 4-story apartment building at the end of Stop and Shop's parking lot, and yet another 3-story apartment building north of Cedar Lane, and a parking garage in the location of the farmers market. I was going to say that this new plan was shocking, but I'm not shocked. There were forums where many, many, many residents from the entire town voiced strong opposition to the declaration of the Stop and Shop area, both north and south of Cedar Lane, as AINRs, areas in need of redevelopment, and then proceeded to give away our municipal parking lots to developers. We expressed our concerns about those municipal parking lots, about excessive traffic flooding north and south of Cedar Lane, parking and environmental issues. Then there were meetings where the Coalition of Neighborhood Associations with some council members where we discussed a proposal for apartment buildings and stores on the north side of Cedar Lane between Garrison and Windsor. It was as if none of this happened. Yes, the size of the buildings in the new proposal, the size was smaller, but most of the other concerns that we had were ignored in the new plan. The same thing happened for the Northeast residents in the northeast of Teaneck, where residents turned out en masse to oppose the high-rise developments. Again, concerns were totally ignored, as we can see in this new plan to address affordable housing. We saw in the recent elections around the country that people want our concerns to be addressed by elected officials. We will not stand by and allow our municipal property to be given away. We won't stand by and allow areas that are perfectly fine to be declared areas in need of redevelopment.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the room want to speak? Seeing no other hands, Mr. Clerk, can you take over on Zoom, please?
We have a few people this evening, Mayor. We are bringing in Chuck Powers.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. 3 minutes.
Okay, Chuck Powers, Teaneck. I thank the township attorney for his brief explanation of the proposed ordinance 41-2025. It is, however, very confusing in terms of the way in which the amendments are enumerated, and they would seem to be not fully coordinated with the actual way in which the rest of that existing ordinance, that important ordinance from last November, are laid out. I have a feeling that in order for us to understand what the new ordinance will actually look like we need to see how the entire ordinance would incorporate these amendments and not just the small pieces of it which appear in what will be introduced tonight as 41-2025. I'd like to say one other thing. Perhaps the most important piece from the point of view of transparency among all of those who are concerned with development, as you can hear, people certainly are again tonight, is to know that in fact a provision in the ordinance passed last November, sorry, not December 10th, says all application materials shall be made publicly available at least 10 days prior to the actual hearing or on that application. It is unclear with the way in which the new amendment is written out for tonight, whether or not that very important provision, I believe it is still there, but that really depends upon how Section 1 in the amendment relates to the sections 1 through 3 in the original ordinance. I think it's important that there be a redefinition of that complete ordinance so that we can see just what remains and what has been changed. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, before we move on, Mr. Mayor, may I ask Dr. Powers?
Well, we answer at the end. Sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, what next?
We have Keith Kaplan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. 3 minutes.
Keith Kaplan, Teaneck resident. I'd like to bring your attention to the resolution in our packet dealing with tax payments, specifically stopping any cash tax payments for items that are over $50. Did a little bit of digging and I'd like you to take note of 3 numbers. One is $189 million. That's how much the tax department brings in over the course of the year. The other is $1 million. That's the amount that they bring in cash. And the other is the percentage. It's half of 1% of the work that they do. It's not a lot. Now, based on the amount that they bring in, there might be some logistical challenges. If someone walks in with $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in cash, I can understand why, that might be concerning. But if a senior on a fixed income walks in with $87 because they were short in the amount they sent in, and it's the last day, are we really going to say no because you're above the $50 threshold? Is not taking cash the thing that we're about at the tax counter? When we take cash at the building department, the health department, the courthouse, we went and put an ATM in our building at considerable expense just so that people would be able to access cash to use in our building. And now it seems that we're telling people that cash is not good for transactions that they're doing in our building. I would humbly suggest that the council, instead of making a ban on transactions over $50, if you're interested in a ban because large amounts are unwieldy, perhaps a amount in excess of $5,000 or the average of the average home's payment for a quarter might be something that you don't want that much cash coming in at once. But to take people on a fixed income, to take people that are, trying to get in on the deadline and tell them, no, we're not going to take cash from you, seems a little too close to, the things that we try to steer against. I understand the reason for not wanting to take cash. There's a lot of headaches it can bring along with it. But the way that this one's being implemented seems like it's going to hurt a very small subset of people. Not me. Mine's paid through my bank through the mortgage payments, but it is going to, come back and hit some people, especially when there are late fees attached after that. I'd humbly suggest you reconsider how it's being implemented. Thank you.
Daryl Green.
Hi, good evening. I'd like to address panel truck advertising. As you know, that's become very popular, but panel truck advertising can sometimes be a distraction, especially at night. I'd like to ask council to consider the application go through some type of permit that be attached and also possibly a designated route for these trucks, because if this were a planning board, I mean, these things for all practical sake it's a moving sign. This can be possibly an accident waiting to happen for drivers who would view these trucks. I'd like to ask possibly a designated route, and this, just pretty much, we look at it like that. So hopefully council can consider such a thing, that when we have panel truck advertising, especially during election time, which becomes very popular, and sound levels that are pretty much hit at night, that can sometimes be disturbing. We look at possibly having an application that has a permit attached. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. We have Hildy Dillon.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, Avi, I will be sending you a recommendation to you and to PPRA, the Advisory Board for Parks, Recreation, and about artificial turf versus grass turf. We do know that there is an artificial turf field where there was much discussion, as you said, about it. It was eventually approved to go forward. Our appeal really is for the safety of children and for the future, and to not use artificial turf in the future. The resident that you're talking about that sent you a letter kind of preempted the discussion that took place at the last meeting, which was held in October of the Environmental Commission. We put together this recommendation. We've been refining the language and the independent scientific resources that we have cited. And we do have the resources that you had sent to the resident, which were actually data that came from the companies that produced the turf surface that TNEC is using. And we think that we should also be looking at independent scientific research. So we're really talking about the future. And it's not an attack. We want to have a discussion, a collegial discussion, looking at the science to discuss the best options for our children moving forward if there are fields that you're considering replacing or improving with turf or grass. So I hope that we can have that collegial discussion. The Environmental Commission has approved this to go through. That was almost 2 weeks ago, and I need to get it out to you and to the PPRAB team as well. And I will copy council so that they're aware of what we're recommending. Also, Mayor Schwartz, the Atlantic Coast Recycling is the company that is now, once again, after the fire that they did rebuild. It's my understanding through discussions with our superintendent of the DPW that our recycling is now going back to Atlantic. I think it would be fascinating for the town to be looking to demand from Atlantic, because they are a vendor that we're paying to sort and sell our recycling materials, to see how much is actually going to companies that sell and repurpose those materials and how much is going to landfill. So I'm in total support of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No one else on Zoom? We'll close good and welfare. Before we start, I do apologize. We were going to have a moment of silence before the meeting, but we were all into the poetry that we forgot. Alcyone Wilson was the owner of the Preve Nail Bar, Nail Salon on Cedar Lane. She was also the consul general for Jamaica, and interestingly enough, for a significant amount of other smaller countries in the Caribbean that she represented. She lived in River Edge. She had two stores on Cedar Lane, and regrettably, she just passed away young this past week, I believe. So with that, just like I take a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you. Mr. Attorney, did you want to address anything before we go down the
I just wanted to ask Dr. Powers a question. Doug, if you can get him back on, that would be great. The question about General Ordinance 41-2025. I was having trouble following at one point. Was the request that this includes essentially one section, I'll say one subsection of section 33-45 of the code, subsection B. Was the request that we include the full ordinance essentially instead of just that one part?
So we're not going to call him back on.
Okay.
That's not going to happen. But we are more than welcome to email him offline. And
Yeah,
if you're suggesting that we pull it.
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
Well, we're going to introduce it, and then if he corresponds back and there's some wordsmithing or whatever it is, then by all means let us know.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. With that, we'll turn to council. Is there any council members that'd like to speak?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman McGovern, yeah, please go ahead.
I'm gonna be really short. I'm gonna defer to the affordable.
To the mic, please. To the mic.
Sorry, sorry. I'm gonna be short. I'm gonna defer to the Affordable Housing Subcommittee and Zoning Subcommittee on the development questions, but I just wanted to address Mr. Green. Thank you. I do fully support a permit requirement for the box trucks. In the first draft of the noise nuisance ordinance that tried to get introduced in March of this year did include that. So I would support, and I would hope that my colleagues support, an amendment to the code to update the nuisance section to include that requirement for a permit for the box trucks. I do think it's a driver safety issue. So Mr. Green, thank you for raising it, and I do fully support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, if you can just list under council listed for Deputy Councilwoman McGovern and myself for the box trucks for next meeting, please. Okay, before I get to you, anybody else? We'll go right to Deputy Mayor Belcher then.
Okay, just a couple of points. I just want to mention that just to remind people, the Never Alone again Resource Center in partnership with the council in terms of collecting non-perishable items in 3 locations here, also at the Rada Center and the library. So we really have residents that are in need, and we want to make sure that we do whatever we can to support of it. Of them and so forth. I just want to mention Ms. Torrey's comment about middle income, and I would say middle type of housing. During the crafting of our master plan, we did address this. We looked at, what can we do in terms of housing that is not just multi-unit, multi-floor developments within town. So that middle income, middle type of housing can speak to 2 to 4 families. But I just want to mention that our ADU ordinance was intended to speak to alternative types of housing. So that's something to look at. And Councilman Song, I just want to mention that, yes, you're absolutely right. The 10 years of 0% budget increases is coming home to roost. It is causing us to have to solve for some serious questions about it. We have stood up some budget meetings, and we're going to continue to do that because we know that we're faced with certain serious decisions that have to be made. But absolutely, our decisions that we make today impacts our children, you know, and we have to be cognizant of that for sure from a budgetary perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll address a few comments. Tori, in terms of the incremental development, I think keeping in mind that ADUs is a valuable tool. Converting much of existing single-family home zoning to allow for two-family homes is, I think, where you were getting with that. That's a very touchy subject that I'm sure we'll hear about more in the future. Keep in mind that does increase a significant amount of traffic and kids in the school, which of course is the excuse that everyone that would like to use. So I definitely understand your desires, and I look forward to hearing more. And I actually heard of two recent ADU applications, or people told me about it. So I'm excited to see if those get built. I think we need to discuss being honest with ourselves. We can't come up here, and I'm going to try to say this with as much respect, but I think there's hypocrisy. And I don't mean that in a rude way, but we talk about we want to not do capital projects because of taxes, and I definitely understand that desire. But then we talk about making new rules for green buildings, which take construction costs and skyrocket them. So are we looking to increase the cost of building? That's just going to increase expenses. And the developer is not going to be able to afford that, and we're not going to have that new revenue to offset additional increases. And it's something you and I have discussed about my hesitancy about green building in general. As it relates to the overall tax questions, I'm not sure if you saw the application to the financial advisory task force, but if you did, I don't know if the applications are still open or not. But if you're going to maybe speak to Deputy Mayor Organ offline, but we do have some people looking at the future budgets, and I think it's something you'd find interesting. Councilman Sohn, you discussed two also complete opposite requests. Leave money in the budget, but then it's also now it's, you know, we have to work on reducing our budget increases. Leaving money in the budget first means you have to add the money to the budget. So if we want to take next year's increase, add millions to it to offset something in the future, we still increased our budget. And what we did is we stripped the budget down to zero year after year after year. No matter what the future feelings on number are, and they will be seen, 8 years of zero are nowhere near what a 7% one year, 2% last year equal. I will stand by those 8 years of zero because of one word: compounding. Compounding 2 to 3% for 8 straight years instead of zero would be tens of thousands of dollars or more for people that had the high or the big signs for me in their lawns. So I stand by our zero that we delivered, and I look forward to working on this year's budget with our committee, with our advisors. And again, Mr. Councilman Stone, please feel free to join the Financial Aid Task Force as well. We'd love to have you. That being said, Mr. Clerk, if you can take over, Ms. Clerk, if you can take over as we go to the consent agendas.
Okay. So for consent agenda, we have one raffle license, 2 sets of minutes, resolution numbers 300-2025 to 316-2025, and a bill list in the amount of $18,618,892.55.
We have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull 300-2025, that's the council meeting schedule, and 308-2025, please.
So pulled. Is there a motion for everything else?
I'll
Motion
move.
All right. So moved by Councilwoman G and seconded by
Goldberg.
Deputy Mayor Belcher. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Goldberg?
Wait, yes to all except for no on 310, the budget transfers, and abstain on the bills list.
Okay. Councilman Pagan?
Yes.
Councilwoman G?
Yes.
Councilman Katz? Deputy Mayor Belcher?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ?
Yes.
And Mayor Schwartz?
Yes. Councilwoman Goldberg, 300-2025, and the clerk's the author of it. So
Yeah, no, I know. So that's the 2026 council meeting schedule for anyone that doesn't have the in front of them, just so transparency. So based on the schedule, when is the budget being introduced? There's 2 budget meetings. It's for forecasting a 14 to 16% tax increase. I'm not clear when the budget is being introduced based on the schedule.
I'll address that. We don't have that answer yet. We haven't even done a budget yet. We haven't looked at a budget yet. We do have the input in the budget meetings that we're down to, we're putting in 2 right now. There's 4 meetings in March, and we'll see where we go from there as we do every single year.
Well, it's 2 budget meetings, not 4. It's 4 meetings, but 2 specific budget meetings. I just think that a 14% tax increase deserves more than 2 meetings. So I would like to move to amend this to add a workshop either in late January, early February, so that way we don't interfere with holidays before the introduction. So that way we are actually hearing from the public and each other to make sure that the final introduction takes into account the public input and governing bodies input.
Second.
Okay, and I guess comment on that, and before we have the roll call, is we love and listen to our residents every single meeting, every single day. We have quite a bit of meetings. In the last few years, I think council felt and discussed that our budget meetings were presentations and no more. And there was 2 or 3 people. The 41,000 people know how to reach us. We take into consideration all their comments all the time, literally 18 hours a day for me. I don't do 6 hours of sleep. So I don't see a need to add more meetings at this time, but I'm sure if everyone else wants to, they may vote for it. So with that said, there's no more comments?
I have a comment.
Yes, please.
We had we tried to do this in September. We had a workshop, I think we added in, and we didn't have any information. So it was nice for everyone to get together. We spoke for an hour. We threw some ideas around, but until the CFO and the manager are ready and we get the figures in, there's nothing for us to start discussing. The reason why we brought it down to 2 meetings is because we don't need that initial presentation with the pie charts anymore. We hear it year after year. We don't need the presentations by the department heads. That first meeting was more ceremonial, but again, there were no figures there. We got the budget books and we went home. So we were just trying to streamline it. We all discussed it at that meeting to see if we can really get down to the numbers and talk about that. And if we have the numbers earlier and we want to put a workshop on the calendar, that's fine, but I think it's premature to do it now.
I just wanted to make sure the public was aware that there are, with the addition of the 2 budget meetings, there are 4 total council meetings in the month of March. I would like to suggest if we need additional discussion time, why don't we add it to our standing meetings on the 10th and the 31st so that we don't have to add more meetings, add more staff time. We can just weave it into an existing meeting and we would still be meeting 4 times that month.
Excellent.
I think a 14% tax increase deserves its own meeting.
I was just going to comment that maybe we need to really, re-envision how we want the presentation to happen rather than sitting here and listening to the department heads. Perhaps we craft a meeting that's more of a working session so that we can have Q&A and so forth. And I do agree that we do need data in order for us to be, proactive in terms of, addressing, we don't know what we don't know until we have that data. So I partly agree with Councilwoman Goldberg, but also with the Deputy Mayor in terms of we do need data, and if we do have that data, it may morph into having another meeting scheduled. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Belcher, would you? I didn't actually mention anything about the. I'm asking Deputy Mayor.
There's
Belcher a question.
there's other people waiting to speak.
Okay.
Councilman Pagan?
I appreciate what everybody is saying because I do know that a budget is a living, breathing thing that always gets changed. But I think there is a motion and a second on the floor, which requires a vote, unless, of course, the person who made the main motion withdraws.
Mr. Clerk, pull the roll call, please.
I wanted to.
The motion?
The motion is to add 2 additional meetings to the March
Or 1. I'm okay with what Deputy Mayor Belcher said. That's why I wanted to ask her a question. Deputy Mayor Belcher, I didn't say anything about the department head meetings. Are you okay with amending to add 1 meeting so that we have that community input to hear the community, not necessarily 2, and have that on the calendar, given the extent of the increase? I'm okay with amending the motion to 1 meeting to add it to 3 instead of 4.
I'm okay with that, assuming we have data that we can, proactively speak to the community about.
Okay, so can we amend it to add 1 meeting, a 3rd meeting then instead of 2? I think either earlier February. I don't want to hit into the holidays. This way it's early, and it doesn't have to be the department head meeting, but this way so I'll amend my motion to 1 meeting.
Councilman Guest?
Yeah, I'm not supportive of additional meetings at this point. I just think it's premature. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know if that's the time we're going to want the additional meetings. I think we should just wait and see. We can always add or remove.
So Councilwoman Goldberg amended her motions for
Second.
one. Is there a second for one? And so a second for one by Councilman Pagan.
Against any.
And you'll have your chance when we do roll call, and I fully agree with you. Roll call on that, please, Ms. Clerk or Mr. Clerk.
To add a meeting to March. There was a motion from Councilwoman Goldberg and a second from Councilman Pagan. Councilwoman Goldberg,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman G,
No.
Councilman Katz.
No.
Deputy Mayor Belcher.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ.
No.
Mayor Schwartz.
No. Okay, is there a motion to move 300, 2025?
Can you explain it?
I'll make the motion just based on rules, but
Sure.
after that.
Thank you. Do you explain what? I'm sorry?
Can someone explain it? It was only added just recently.
This is the resolution.
The calendar.
The calendar.
It's just to the calendar?
Yeah.
No, no. I passed this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, there is a, now second, Councilwoman Goldberg's motion, please. Mr. Clerk, if you call the roll call.
Councilwoman Goldberg.
No.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We are doing your.
300, no, we're doing.
No, it's now it's I made the motion to move it because I pulled it. So, and then Mayor Schwartz seconded it. So we're good.
300 of 2025.
Yep.
Ordinance was moved by Councilwoman Goldberg and is seconded by me. She's moving what she originally pulled. That's all.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's 300. Sorry. Councilwoman Goldberg.
No.
Councilman Pagan.
Yes.
Councilwoman G.
Yes.
Councilman Katz.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Belcher.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ.
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next, 308 was pulled.
Do we have a plan? I know the CFO kind of
Yeah.
sort of mentioned this earlier today about converting the short-term bonds into permanent debt. What's the timeline on that? Do we have one?
Can you repeat that question one more time, Councilwoman?
What's our plan for converting the short-term bond notes into permanent debt?
Doug, I defer to Issa. He's on.
We got our CFO on.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As I alluded to in my email earlier today, there is scheduled a significant drop off the top of my head, $665 or so $1,000 in terminal leave payments and the COVID loan coming off our books January 1st of 2027. The financial advisor, auditor, and I are in discussions, hopefully for 2027 to issue a bond. But as everyone knows, things are very fluid. Interest rates change from month to month, depending on the political climate, and we are monitoring it. But we have been typically issuing bonds every 3 or so years. It also depends on the rate, and we also may retire some of those bond anticipation notes, possibly in 2027, not all of them. So it all depends on a multitude of factors, but it is on our on the forefront of our minds.
While we have you, do we know what the interest rates are? I know that the market's been coming down. I know last year was 5%, then 4.6. What's the market? What are we looking at with the interest rate for this?
I could pull that up in a moment, but we are hopeful based on recent sales to get something in the range of roughly 2.5% to 3%, give or take. And again, that still could change because that was as of November 3rd. And by the time we do go out for sale, it would be mid-December. So a lot of things can change in those 45 days.
And then you mentioned the COVID loan. So that's in January and then it's gonna be one more year, or it's done after 2025? I wasn't clear.
No, so 2026 is the last year of the COVID special emergency at, I believe it's $438,000 a year. And next year is also the last year of the 2021 terminal leave. Yes, correct. So that's why starting in the 27 budget, you'll have about $665,000, if I remember correctly, of funding available that we could use then to refinance those notes into bonds and pay down more bond principal.
Can I just request for whenever this does happen, that you come back, just let us know what the interest rate is on this so we know?
Yes, we typically do that, but I'll make sure that as soon as we finalize the rate and award, the council is made privy to the results.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm done. If anyone else has any questions, but I'll move it if nobody else doesn't.
I'll second 308. Mr. Clerk or Ms. Clerk, if you can call the roll on 308, put motion by Goldberg, second by Schwartz.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
No.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman G,
Yes.
Councilman Katz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes. That being said, I think we now go to the introduction of ordinances.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry, yes.
No, that's the one I needed to have you explain.
Okay, so we'll start before any questions. We'll read in the ordinances. Mrs. Clerk?
Second one? Where's the second one?
We have 3 ordinances for introduction. First one's going to be ordinance 40-2025, amending section 36-11.2 of chapter 36 of the Township Code for the Township of Teaneck, adding a restricted on-site parking space for handicap parking at 157 Sherman Avenue. Ordinance 41-2025, amending the Township Code for the Township of Teaneck to clarify the actions of the Application Review Committee. And then the third one is ordinance 42-2025, amending the Township Code for the Township of Teaneck to require owners, operators, lessees for occupants of any commercial, industrial, and institutional property to report recycling activity.
Mayor.
Sure,
No,
Mayor
can you just explain, or someone explain 41-2025 and 42-2025?
Yes, I believe this is, we call it the Chris Brown ordinance. Is that correct?
That's definitely the informal name, yes, for it.
Yes.
Which one is the Chris?
41.
41.
Would you mind giving him the, giving Councilman Katz the brief?
Sure. So this was an amendment of an ordinance that you guys adopted last December, which created this application review committee before applications can be heard by the either the land use boards. There was some confusion with this committee as to who was supposed to send out letters saying the applications were complete or not, when they were supposed to send them out. And so this is primarily to clarify that, and that's at the end of section B1.
So we're creating a committee?
You already did create the committee last December. So it's made up of the board secretary, the board.
Got it.
The board.
And then what about 42-2025?
I don't know if Madam Manager, do you want to talk on that one?
Sure. This ordinance is going to add in an element where a letter will be presented to business owners locally that they will report their tonnage. So their recycling tonnage will be reported to the township, and that will be inclusive to our tonnage report. And in that report, it will just add to the actual reporting of our recycling coordinator, and it could increase our funding back to the township. I don't know what those funds would look like. Our DPW director would be do that
Because I
reporting.
don't know what the burden on the business owners is going to be, but I'd like to request that we first send this to the Teaneck Road Business Alliance, the Cedar Lane Improvement District, and the Chamber of Commerce to get their comments. I also like to push on this because I thought we're getting an entire global conversation about our recycling, and here we are putting additional burdens on business owners when we're trying to say maybe we should be reducing the burden on homeowners. So I'd like to ask if, I'd like to make a motion to table this until that conversation and until we get feedback from the business districts.
I'll second that.
Deputy Mayor Katz, can I just clarify one piece in this? So it's
Yeah, I do.
from my understanding, and Madam Manager, you can tell me if I'm wrong, because this is what Hackensack does, and I think most of the surrounding towns. Right now, DPW has to make phone calls to businesses, and this is just a letter to request the letter versus the phone call to reduce the staff time. Am I getting that right? It's not increasing anything on the businesses, it's helping the staff, and if we get the numbers from them, it increases our recycling tonnage. Is that my understanding? I know we pulled it from Hackensack.
So I think it increases the tonnage we throw in the garbage.
So I'm not questioning whether it's good or bad. I honestly don't know. I mean, I've had a business in Teaneck for 30 years now. I've never gotten a phone call from the DPW, though maybe they don't have my number. But with that said, I'm just saying that 46 minutes ago, the mayor spoke about the fact that we should have a global review of our recycling program. And now we're saying before we have a global review of our recycling program, let's add an onerous component to all the merchants in town. And before we even get feedback from any of the businesses or business districts.
on this.
I would agree. I would agree with that because
call
I
the
think,
roll call.
yeah.
Let's
Honor it.
call
Wait,
roll
can the
call.
manager answer my questions? I was asking
Well,
her. I asked her.
either we're gonna hold by we call. the roll
I'm allowed to
call,
ask the
call
manager a
roll
question.
call. I mean, which are we doing? Which is like Robert's Junior's rule, like we do the motion. I don't know what rule. So, do you want to answer her question since?
Could you repeat your question, Hillary?
I asked to clarify. So the current process is the DPW makes phone calls, and this is literally just changing from a phone call to a letter to save our staff time. And then they the reports get sent to the township anyway. This is changing the process from that to help our staff. And then when we get the letter, which there were to their carriers, this is what we heard. We just get an increase in the thing. There's no owners to the business. They're not changing anything. And I think I didn't wasn't it also going to the carrier anyway? So if we have the carriers, this is helping our staff and we get the bonus in the business and the recycling tonnage grant if it's not already being reported. Right? Isn't that what I understood?
Honestly, I have to tell you, I don't know if every business is getting that phone call or responding back. So this was a way for us to kind of streamline via a letter to the businesses and then respond. I am familiar with the Hackensack process, but this was a way for us to streamline it here. I can confirm with the businesses as Ellie requested, and see what kind of feedback we get if we want to go this route. But I'm more than happy to take a closer look, Mayor.
Roll call, please. It was the first and
Mayor,
second on the.
one last quick question. I'm sorry. So are we tabling just until we get more
Roll
information?
call is the table.
Yeah.
That's all the roll call.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying that we need a little additional information.
Yes, the roll call is the table. Mr. Clerks, call the roll call, please.
Do we need a date?
41. It's 42. My apologies, 42. So it's a motion right now to table 42, and then you'll call the roll call to introduce the other two.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
No to tabling.
Councilman Pagan,
I'm okay with tabling it temporarily, yes.
Councilwoman G,
Yes.
Councilman Katz, Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, and I'd like to make a motion to introduce 40 and 41 of 2025. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman G,
Yes.
Councilman Katz, Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Nodding heads, yes, meeting is adjourned.
Meeting adjourned at